Games. Nowadays, almost all people playing games, right? Age, it doesn't matter. Even my mom play games too, such as Candy Crush, but that kind of game is not controversial as what I'm going to tell you guys. Have you heard of God of War, Mortal Kombat, Injustice, GTA, Call of Duties, and other R-rated games? If you know some of these games, I'm pretty sure you know what I'm going to take you guys into. R-rated games are actually fun to be. R-rated games is actually fun to some extent, but this kind of game actually kind of too brutal or violence to be played in this generation. I mean, it's R-rated, so what do we expect, right? But usually it's mind-blowing because it actually far worse than we can imagine. It is my concern regarding to this particular topic. Therefore, I'm Muhammad Daniel bin Muhammad Salim, would like to talk about violence in video games for youngsters. So, there are many type of genres when it comes to games. There is actually more than 30 games genres such as action, adventure, horror, survival, simulation, and so on. So, but what I'm about to focus on is not the game genre, but the content inside of the game. Even though most brutal or violence games are R-rated, those kind of games are actually available on Steam, Epic Games, Apple Store, Play Store, and other platforms that can give us access to download and play it. Therefore, youngsters are also able to download and play that kind of game. For obvious reason, it is not suitable for youngsters in my opinion, because don't you think it's kind of weird and inappropriate to play for youngsters or even older people? It is okay if you want to play it just for fun, but embrace violence, that would actually lead to something bad for sure. I do think when it comes to games, we should be more careful to be not into the game too much. Besides of it might affect your brain, it might affect your daily behavior too. Let's move on to point number 1. My first point is, I think to avoid youngsters involved in this kind of game genre is by putting strict age restriction to avoid youngsters having access to even download or play this kind of games. Since nowadays youngsters have their own smartphone, tablet, computer, and also laptop, which mean they're able to access those kind of games. This point actually relate to my sub point, which is parents should not give their child all those kind of things due to the risk of them to use it for wrong things, or maybe parent can and should active parent control mode, which I believe that the features are already available on all gadgets. For example, in Steam app, before you even want to see the game's details, you need to put your birthday first. It applies to every R-rated games in Steam, unlike E-rated or PG-rated games. It's actually very effective way to avoid youngsters having access to the game. But as for developer, I think they should reduce amount of violence in developing games to avoid their games being banned. If the developer doesn't want to reduce the amount of violence in their games, the chances of the game being banned is quite high. Actually, I found an article related to this. The article is from Video Games Chronicle website, and the title is The Callisto Protocol Cancelled in Japan after the developer decides against cut, that published by Andy Robinson. It said that Japan's CERO rating system has apparently deemed the game too excessively gory. However, while striking distance could have presumably chosen to alter or censor content in order to satiate CERO, it has chosen not to. So, video games are rarely banned in Japan, which because their country is well known in developing games. So, I think the game might be too violent to be played since they banned the game. So let's move on to my second point. My second and last point is I concern about youngsters who involved in this particular genre of games because it may affect their daily behavior. They might be thinking like this. It's fine, that's okay and stuff. It might influence them to do something similar to what they play in those kind of games, since they're seeing what in the game is normal, or should I say they're used to it to the point that they think that that's cool. I would like to remind you, youngsters are easily to be influenced by daily things that they do, they hear, they watch every single day. So it will be the best for us to prevent them from thinking violence behavior is fine. If they started thinking that violence is fine, their behaviors will drastically change, since for them there is nothing to compare on what they see in the game. And I got to agree on that if I have the same mindset as them, because just like what I said, they think it's fine to do violence. Therefore, we should prevent this thing from the very beginning, before it's too late to handle. I found another article that confirming that violence in video games can affect your behaviors. According to an article that I read from American Psychological Association website, it said that playing violence video games can increase person aggressive thought, feelings, and behavior in both in laboratory setting in actual life, according to two studies appearing in the April issues of the American Psychological Association's Journal of Personality and Social Psychology. Their behavior might change to something more aggressive, such as they become more violent, rude, short-tempered, and so on. The reason why I choose this particular topic is due to the fact that I also consider myself to be fairly involved in this kind of games. I also play this kind of game that are rated, but it's just for fun. Since I'm 21 years old, I'm kind of excluded. And to close everything that I've been talking about, violence in video games is not suitable for youngsters who are the type of people that will be easily influenced by the games or even social media, because it will brainwash them by thinking, oh, that's fun and that's fine. So, to violence. Other than that, parents should play a big role in preventing their child from playing violence video games, because the parents have the responsibility to take care and develop what kind of person their child are. I know that violence in video games is a significant factor in influencing and developing a game more interesting nowadays. But still, we should put a limit to it before it becomes something that consuming ourselves. So, I think that's all from me. Thank you. See you in the next video.